प्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नित्य नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी प्रख्यात देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivicharya, Astottara Session Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivicharya, Astottara Session Divine Grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय. नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय. श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोरधाम की जय. वृंदावन धाम की जय, मथुरा धाम की जय, मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय, जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय, गंगा मई जमुना मई की जय, तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की जय, समवेत भक्तवृंद की जय. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Prabhupada. Go ahead, Kendra Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for the kirtan. Thank you for everything. And Hare Krishna, and welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam class with His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami and friends. Maharaj has sent me a note. It's telling me he's going to be traveling. It's a heavy traveling time for him. So he may not be able to tune in, but as always, he's happy when we continue even without him. So hopefully we'll be able to hear everyone's thoughts tonight, and don't be shy.
Don't be shy, right?
And it is Friday, September 13th, 2024 in New York, and we're picking up where we left off, which is Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 4th chapter. Text number 13 is our starting verse this evening.
13, okay. All right, let's see. Yeah, I can start too.
And happy to see Saraswati Mata back with us.
Oh, yes.
I hope she's doing well. And
She's doing well, yes.
Hare Krishna.
Let me get the light on. Hold on. Hare Krishna.
Also happy to see Panchatattva Prabhu here after a short but significant absence. Hare Krishna.
I'm back from the animal farm.
Very well.
At least someone is.
Yes, I'm reading. Yes, let's see. Text. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, entitled Sati Quits Her Body. Chapter 4 entitled Sati Quits Her Body, and text number 13. Nashvaya me the satsu sarvada mahan dvininda kunapat bhavadishu sheshyam mahapurushapada pumsubhi nisatejasu tadeva shobhanam. It is not wonderful for a person who has accepted the transient material body as a self to engage always in deriding great souls. Such envy on the part of materialistic person is very good, because that is the way they fall down. They are diminished by the dust of the feet of great personalities. But what? Everything depends on the strength of the recipient. For example, due to the scorching sunshine, many vegetables and flowers dry up, and many grows luxuriantly. Thus, it is the recipient that causes growth and dwindling. Similarly, Mahiyashama pada rajo vishakam. The dust of the lotus feet of great personalities offers all good to the recipient, but the same dust can also do harm. Those who are offenders at the lotus feet of a great personality dry up, their godly qualities diminish. A great soul may forgive offenses, but Krishna does not excuse offenses to the dust of that great soul's feet. Just as one can tolerate the scorching sunshine on one's head, but cannot tolerate the scorching sunshine on one's feet. An offender glides down more and more. Therefore, he naturally continues to commit offenses at the feet of the great soul. Offenses are generally committed by a person who falsely identifies with the impermanent body. King Daksha was deeply engrossed in a misconception because he identified the body with the soul. He offended the lotus feet of Lord Shiva because he thought that his body, being the father of the body of the Sati, was superior to Lord Shiva's. Generally, less intelligent men misidentify in that way, and they act in the bodily concept of life. Thus, they are subject to commit more and more offenses at the lotus feet of great souls. One who has such a concept of life is considered to be in the class of animal like crows and asses. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuramitim Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Krupatam Hamande Paramanandamadum Shri Chaitanya Shri Guru Nintariham. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhaktamanda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I missed few verses in the back, but this verse tells us not to do any offenses to the great souls, great devotees. And if you do, then you glide down slowly and slowly towards down towards animal kingdom of life. And it is very important to know that a great soul may forgive offenses, but Krishna does not excuse offenses to the dust of the great soul's feet. Okay, so we have to be very careful and very conscious about not making any offenses or to anybody, not even great soul, not even to in general public. We have to be very careful, especially to the devotees. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
I had a couple of thoughts, Prabhu, if it's okay, I could share some. In both Prabhupada's commentary and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, he talks about the two ways that the dust of the devotees' feet can work. If you're serving the lotus feet of the devotees, then the dust can elevate you. But if you're performing sadhuninda, then the same dust will, in the words of Srila Vishwanath, the dust from their feet does not tolerate that criticism and destroys their powers. So Sati here is saying it's good that you're making offenses because now you're going to go down the way you are supposed to go. And it also the word that Prabhupada uses for the trajectory of the criticizing person is glide, which gives you the sense that they're just falling. They're not really in control anymore. They're not being steered by any kind of intelligence. They're just gliding down. Hare Krishna.
As we say, you go out of hand,
Yeah.
out of hand. And there is one way you can get over with this thing is just to go to that person that you made offenses and ask them to forgive you. That's one way you can elevate yourself later on. Yes, Panchatattva has a hands up. Thanks.
I also think about that expression glide down. And please correct me if it sounds a bit speculative, but you'll notice that it's kind of typical, at least in my own experience, being an offender, is you don't like realize right away the severity of your offense. So the reactions that accumulate as a result and that begin to manifest happen over time. It isn't like necessarily a sudden cataclysm, as in the case of Daksha, but it happens over time. So you're on a kind of a glide path without even realizing it. You're in a downward trajectory, and more the weight of your aparadhas, your offenses, is pressing down on you. But due to false ego, especially as typified by Daksha, you're really not aware of the terrible position that you're in, at least until it's too late. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, it's a subtle thing, like we cannot perceive subtle body, and so it's a mind, false mind, intelligence, and false ego. They're working, and it's a subtle. So yeah, it's very hard to. And then we think we didn't do anything, but then you have to realize that this is it's in a form of a subtle thing, and it's very hard to recognize. Thank you very much.
There's one other thing, but first, Praveen Krishna Prabhu says, here we see materialism leading to offenses. Does it happen the other way? Offenses leading to materialism? And I thought of one example, but I'll put it before you, Prabhu, since you are.
Yes, you're right. You become materialistic, or in other words, you go down and Maya captures you. Yes.
I thought of the example of Ramchandra Puri, who, because of his offenses to devotees, became a materialist.
Yes. And being materialistic means you enjoy and you keep Krishna on the side.
Yeah. And because there's such a strong parallel between this text 13 we just read and another famous verse from the 10th canto, the sages' teachings at Kurukshetra, I just wanted to read it because I love the way it sounds.
Please, yes.
Yasyatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke svadhi kalatrad shubhom ijyadhi yatirtha buddhi salile nakarichij janeshva vigyeshu saeva gokaraha.
Gokara.
And the translation: one who identifies his self as the inert body composed of mucus, bile, and air, who assumes his wife and family are permanently his own, who thinks an earthen image or the land of his birth is worshipable, or who sees a place of pilgrimage as merely the water there, but who never identifies himself with, feels kinship with, worships, or even visits those who are wise in spiritual truth, such a person is no better than a cow or an ass.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhu.
And Panchatattva Prabhu offers another example, Sobhari Muni, offenses leading to materialism. That's a long story, sure. Can you remind us what happened with Sobhari Muni? I know that there was some offense there, and he ran into some difficulty in his yoga.
I'm not the best on these stories, but as I recall, he committed offenses to Garuda.
Yes, don't eat the fishes. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And then later on, as a result of his offense, he became attracted to mundane sex life by viewing the activities of fish during his meditations
Mm.
and gradually took up a life as a materialist before later on repenting his waywardness. I don't know if that's exactly a very good outline of the story. And I don't know whether that actually presents a story of someone who's on a spiritual platform and then becomes materialistic, because evidently the seeds of materialism are there, but simply by committing offenses to devotees like Garuda.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because he thought he's going to protect all the fishes. And those fishes came and say, hey guys, do some favor. And he said, okay, I'll do some favor. Here's a materialistic example that you become puffed up by the votes, Okay, I'll don't worry, fish, I'll protect you. So he curses Garuda, who is not vegetarian. It depends upon all the fishes, and being a carrier of Lord Vishnu, he has to be careful that whom he is telling. He said, don't come here anymore, otherwise something will happen to your, I curse you, to die or whatever, I don't know. But we have to be very careful what we say. And here, Saugari Muni on a spiritual platform, doing all the sadhana, or all the austerities, and instead of softening his heart, he became envious of Garuda, which is a best carrier of Lord Vishnu. Wherever Vishnu goes, he goes on Garuda, just like we go on an aeroplane, And just by doing that, he was meditating under the water, and he saw fishes making connection. And then he thought, oh, that must be fun there, So I think he got out, and so very Muni, yes. He married 50 daughters of, what's his name? Big king. I forgot the name. Very famous. Anybody remember? Anybody? I don't know. Anyway, so, but then after enjoying so much life, he realized, oh my God, what did I do? So that part is acceptable. Then he renounced everything and he got perfection.
Venkatesh offers that it was King Mandata.
That's right, Mandata, yes. Thank you, Venkatesh Prabhu. Yes. Mandata, my favorite king, Mandata. Very humble. King Mandata is so humble because he saw Surabhi cow giving all the thing in the world, and he didn't become envious. Because in Vasishtha and Vishwamitra case, Vishwamitra says, I want that Surabhi cow, And they fought for it. And in another example, Parshuram's father, he had a Surabhi cow, and that king, what was his name again? Anyway, so he wanted that cow, and there was a fight, and for that reason, Parshuram had to kill Kshatriya 21 times from the roots.
Kartavir Arjun.
What's that?
Kartavir Arjun.
Right. Very good. Thank you, Kartavir. So many examples like that. And anyway, I just gave my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, you have to be careful when you decide to take it upon yourself to become a one-man Greenpeace organization. The Praveen Krishna Prabhu offers a very helpful verse from 10th canto. Ayu Shriyang Yashodharmang Lokan Ashisha Evacha Hanti Shriyang Sisarvani Pungso Mahad Atikramaha My dear king, when a man persecutes great souls, all his benedictions of longevity, beauty, fame, religion, blessings, and promotion to higher planets will be destroyed. Thank you, Praveen Krishna Prabhu. And he also adds that, and the fishes had all died by the poison of Kaliya, who took shelter there out of fear of Garuda. The plot is thick.
True, yeah. I didn't realize that it's true. So I would like Panchatattva Prabhu to lead, please. That's text 14.
I think your mother Shraddha to read sometime.
Oh, okay, sure, no problem.
But I'm just making the suggestion sometime. If we could invite her to read, that would be nice. Text 15.
14, I think, yes.
14, yeah. Sorry. Flip the page. Yad Zaksharam Nama Giriritam Nrinam Sakrit Prasangad Agam Ashuhanti Tat Pavitra Kirtim Tam Alangya Shasanam Bhavanaho Dveshti Shivam Shivetaraha. Translation. Sati continued, my dear father, you are committing the greatest offense by envying Lord Shiva, whose very name, consisting of two syllables, Shi and Va, purifies one of all sinful activities. His order is never neglected. Lord Shiva is always pure, and no one but you envies him. Purport. Since Lord Shiva is the greatest soul among the living entities within this material world, his name, Shiva, is very auspicious for persons who identify the body with the soul. If such persons take shelter of Lord Shiva, gradually they will understand that they are not the material body, but our spirit soul. Gradually they will understand that they are not the material body, but our spirit soul. Shiva means Mangala, or auspicious. Within the body, the soul is auspicious. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. This realization is auspicious. As long as one does not realize his identity as the soul, whatever he does is inauspicious. Shiva means auspicious, and devotees of Lord Shiva gradually come to the platform of spiritual identification. But that is not all. Auspicious life begins from the point of spiritual identification, but there are still more duties. One has to understand one's relationship with the Supreme Soul. If one is actually a devotee of Lord Shiva, he comes to the platform of spiritual realization. But if he's not intelligent enough, then he stops at that point, only realizing that he is spirit soul, Aham Brahmasmi. If he is intelligent enough, however, he should continue to act in the way of Lord Shiva. For Lord Shiva is always absorbed in the thought of Vasudeva. As previously explained, Tattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. Lord Shiva is always in meditation on the lotus feet of Vasudeva, Sri Krishna. Thus, the auspicious position of Lord Shiva is realized if one takes to the worship of Vishnu, because Lord Shiva says in the Shiva Purana that the topmost worship is worship of Lord Vishnu. Lord Shiva is worshipped because he is the greatest devotee of Lord Vishnu. One should not therefore make the mistake of considering Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu to be on the same level. That is also an atheistic idea. It is also enjoined in the Vaishnaviya Purana that Vishnu, or Narayana, is the exalted Supreme Personality of Godhead, and no one should be compared to him as equal, even Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma, not to speak of other demigods. Om Jnana-timiranda Shagaranjana Salakaya Chakshomani Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Oh, I had that pulled up. I must have lost it. Anyway, it's the second offense against the holy names. consider the names of the demigods such as Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the holy name of Lord Vishnu. This is an offense to the holy name. And when these things being equal, it's an offense to Krishna. Krishna and his holy name are identical. So we don't take it that they're all on the same platform. And it's unfortunate that you find in the case of worshippers of the demigods and even the worshippers of Lord Shiva, they can't make this distinction. Therefore, even they make this, they don't have a full understanding. It's clear here from what Prabhupada's saying that some of them come to this level of Aham Brahmasmi, understanding that they're spiritual, spirit soul. But they can't progress beyond it because they haven't understood Lord Shiva's relationship to Lord Vishnu. You know? So, and it's nice, it's wonderful that Prabhupada quotes from Lord Shiva himself from a previous verse. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. Lord Shiva has previously explained to Sati before she decides against his good counsel to go and attend this Daksha Yajna, that this is his position. He's always engaged in meditation on the lotus feet of Vasudeva, Shri Krishna. Hare Krishna.
We have a Maharaj here, I think.
Yeah, I've shown up.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hi.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol, Gurudev.
Hare Krishna.
It's just coming through.
Where are we now?
Yeah, we are on text number 14,
Mm-hmm.
Canto 4, Chapter 4, 14.
Okay, we're up to 14. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, better that I not say anything right now.
Okay, Maharaj.
Carry on.
Yeah.
Apologize for being late. I lost my phone, which is my alarm clock, among other things.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So,
But thank you for coming, Maharaj. Thanks.
Oh, no.
Okay, let's see. What do we have? Venkatesh Prabhu, if you are available.
We have a question in the chat from Prabin Krishna Prabhu.
Mm-hmm.
He asks, is materialism an inherent effect of offenses?
it's an inherent effect of offenses. Well, it is an offense that as soon as I turn toward matter, I turn away from Krishna. So it's that in itself is an offense. As soon as I turn toward matter, toward Maya, then I'm at once a materialist, and that in itself is offensive. And then if I continue as I'm, going beyond that, the materialistic point of view, matter is everything, and so on. That's the offensive neglect of Krishna. So all criminals.
Thank you, Maharaj.
I noticed something, if I can say, from the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti. He says that, it's a short commentary. He says, among the great devotees, there is none equal to Shiva. His name of 2 syllables, Shiva, just by being chanted, not even in meditation, and only once, not many times, and inattentively, destroys all sins.
Mm.
So Pavitra Kirtam describes Shiva's sweet qualities, and Alankya Shasanam describes his powers. Shivetara means inauspicious. So, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Okay, if Venkatesh is not available, I will invite Ross Prabhu. It's number
Yes,
15. Thank you.
15.
Oh, no. Let's see. 16.
Okay. 4:16.
Yeah, let's see. You
6:15.
15. Sorry, 15.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Yat pada padmam mahatam mano vidir isapitam brahma rasasavar tibi lokasya yad versati chasiso ritinas tasme bhavan driyati visva bandhape. Translation. You are envious of Lord Shiva, who is the friend of all living entities within the 3 worlds. For the common man, he fulfills all desires, and because of their engagement in thinking of his lotus feet, he also blesses higher personalities who are seeking after Brahmananda, transcendental bliss. Purport. Ordinarily, there are 2 classes of men. One class who are grossly materialistic, want material prosperity, and their desires are fulfilled if they worship Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, being very quickly satisfied, satisfies the material desires of the common man very quickly. Therefore, it is seen that ordinary men are very much apt to worship him. Next, those who are disgusted or frustrated with the materialistic way of life worship Lord Shiva to attain salvation, which entails freedom from material identification. One who understands that he is not the material body, but his spirit soul, is liberated from ignorance. Lord Shiva also offers that facility. People generally practice religion for economic development to get some money, for by getting money they can satisfy their senses. But when they are frustrated, they want spiritual Brahmananda, or merging into the Supreme. These 4 principles of material life, religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, exist, and Lord Shiva is the friend of both the ordinary man and the man who is elevated in spiritual knowledge. Thus, it was not good for Daksha to create enmity towards him. Even Vaishnavas who are above both the ordinary and the elevated men in this world also worship Lord Shiva as the greatest Vaishnava. Thus he is the friend of everyone, the common men, the elevated men, and the devotees of the Lord. So no one should disrespect or create enmity towards Lord Shiva.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Maharaj, to you, please.
Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kodamahyam Dadati Shapadantikam. I don't have a lot to add here, I don't think. This is the greatness of Lord Shiva, his kindness, both to the the materialists, he'll grant their desires, or to the salvationists, he'll grant their desire. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it's mentioned that this benediction is given to Lord Shiva to be able to give liberation. All right, that much.
Thank you, Maharaj. Even he also very kind to the lower pieces of life, like those ghosts and goblins and those who doesn't have any chance to elevate, but he give them shelter, little by little. Yeah. Thank you, Maharaj.
Therefore, the greatness of Lord Shiva, where we tend to say, oh, demigods, just forget the demigods, and that's there. Vaishnavas shouldn't worship anyone other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But here, the specific greatness of Lord Shiva is being elaborated by Sati. He's almost on the level of Lord Vishnu.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
I had a question. Something just occurred to me. I was looking at the commentary of Srila Vishwanath for this verse, and he says that the previous verse described Shiva's ability to destroy sin. This verse describes his ability to give liberation. So my question is, what kind of liberation is Lord Shiva able to give, since he's himself, in one sense, within the material realm only?
That's described Brahmarasa. I think that's the word. Brahmarasa. Brahmarasasa Vartipi. So here, Brahmarasa Asava, the nectar of transcendental bliss, which Prabhupada and Vishwanath glosses Brahmananda. The thinking about it, though, Brahmarasa, in another sense, I hope I'm not going and farther than I should go here, but Brahmarasa would be, as soon as there's rasa, there's transcendental taste of individual relationships, and we see that Lord Shiva gives that also. He instructs devotees like the Prachetas in Krishna consciousness. So by the grace of Lord Shiva, even one can be elevated in devotional service. And so therefore even the devotees are praise Lord Shiva, or he's the friend even of the devotees. The friend, yes, common man, the elevated man, and the devotees of the Lord.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Yeah, for a moment, I just had completely blanked out on the fact that he's the head of, the Rudra Sampradaya, and he's like, he's a guru for a whole lot of the material world. So it just didn't hit me. Thank you.
Anything in the chat box?
Panchatattva Prabhu says, I'm thinking how pure devotees have this quality of Lord Shiva. They are kind to all living beings, seeing them in relationship to Krishna.
Okay, let's see who is available now. Dana, you want to try next verse?
Is it 4417?
16.
16, yes.
4416.
Right.
In love. I noticed it's a long purport. May I break it up? I had some dental surgery and it might be a lot for me to read the whole thing.
Yeah, we'll go halfway, whatever. Sure.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Shivakyam Ashivam Navidastvadanye Ramadhyastam Avakira Jataha Smashane Tanmalya Basma Nrikaya Avasat Ishachar Imudirdati Tach Charan Vashatam. Translation. Do you think that greater, more respectable personalities than you, such as Lord Brahma, do not know this inauspicious person who goes under the name Lord Shiva? He associates with the demons in the crematorium. His locks of hair are scattered all over his body, and he is garlanded with human skulls and smeared with ashes from the crematorium. But in spite of all these inauspicious qualities, great personalities like Brahma honor him by accepting the flowers offered to his lotus feet and placing them with great respect on their heads. Purport. It is useless to condemn a great personality like Lord Shiva, and this is being stated by his wife Sati, to establish the supremacy of her husband. First she said, "You call Lord Shiva inauspicious because he associates with demons in crematoriums, covers his body with the ashes of the dead, and garlands himself with the skulls of human beings. You have shown so many defects, but you do not know that his position is always transcendental. Although he appears inauspicious, why do personalities like Brahma respect the dust of his lotus feet and place on their heads with great respect those very garlands which are condemned by you? Since Sati was a chaste woman and the wife of Lord Shiva, it is her duty to establish the elevated position of Lord Shiva, not only by sentiment, but by facts. Lord Shiva is not an ordinary living entity. This is the conclusion of Vedic scripture. He is neither on the level of the Supreme Personality of Godhead nor on the level of the ordinary living entities. Rama is in almost all cases an ordinary living entity. Sometimes, when there is no ordinary living entity available, the post of Brahma is occupied by an expansion of Lord Vishnu, but generally this post is occupied by a greatly pious living entity within this universe. Thus Lord Shiva's position is constantly higher than that of Lord Brahma, although Lord Shiva appeared as the son of Brahma. Here it is mentioned that even personalities like Brahma accept the so-called inauspicious flowers and the dust of the lotus feet of Lord Shiva. Great sages like Marichi, Atri, Bhrigu, and the others among the 9 great sages who are descendants of Brahma also respect Lord Shiva in such a way because they all know that Lord Shiva is not an ordinary living entity. May I pass to the next person, please?
Yeah, sure, yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yovan Ananda would be willing to read if you want.
Okay, yes. Yogananda Prabhu.
Okay. In many Puranas, it is sometimes asserted that a demigod is elevated to such a high position that he's almost on equal level with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the conclusion that Lord Vishnu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead is confirmed in every scripture. Lord Shiva is described in the Brahma Samhita to be like curd or yogurt. Curd is not different from milk. Since milk is transformed into curd, in one sense, curd is also milk. Similarly, Lord Shiva is in one sense the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but in another sense he's not, just as curd is milk, although we have to distinguish between the two. These descriptions are in the Vedic literature. Whenever we find that a demigod occupies a position apparently more elevated than that of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it is just to draw the devotee's attention to that particular demigod. It is also stated in Bhagavad Gita 9:25 that if one wants to worship a particular demigod, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is sitting in everyone's heart, gives one greater and greater attachment for that demigod, so that one may be elevated to the demigod's abode. Yanti Dev Vrata Devan. By worshiping demigods, one can elevate himself to the abodes of the demigods. Similarly, by worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can be elevated to the spiritual kingdom. This is stated in different places in Vedic literature. Here, Lord Shiva is praised by Sati, partially due to her personal respect for Lord Shiva, since he is her husband, and partially due to his exalted position, which exceeds that of ordinary living entities, even Lord Brahma. Can I continue?
Yeah, go ahead, continue.
Okay. The position of Lord Shiva is accepted by Lord Brahma. So Daksha, Sati's father, should also recognize him. That was the point of Sati's statement. She did not actually come to her father's house to participate in the function, although before coming, she pleaded with her husband that she wanted to see her sisters and her mother. That was a plea only, for actually, at heart, she maintained the idea that she would convince her father, Daksha, that it was useless to continue being envious of Lord Shiva. That was her main purpose. When she was unable to convince her father, she gave up the body he had given her, as will be seen in the following verses.
Thank you very much.
Jai.
So this is very important to note here, that ordinarily we think that Sati left Shiva and she didn't listen to her, to him. But here, Prabhupada mentions that actually she came here, it was a plea only, for actually at heart, she maintained the idea that she would convince her father Daksha. This is great daughter, quality of a daughter, that she thought she might convince Daksha Maharaj, and that it was useless to continue being envious of Lord Shiva. I mean, this is a great thing that she thought about it in her heart, and even she didn't obey her husband, Lord Shiva, and she went ahead just to thinking that this time she might convince her father and give up the idea of insulting Lord Shiva. Yes, is Maharaj available?
Yes. A lot of points here.
Yes.
These ornaments of Lord Shiva are supposedly inauspicious. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Sanatana Goswami says, in Lord Shiva's view, demigods like Brahma and Indra are addicted to sense enjoyment. Their celestial garlands, ornaments, and perfumes last only a short time, and so leave them dissatisfied. Better than the decorations of the demigods are his own garlands, made of bones and intoxicating weeds, which at least cause no disappointment when they decay. These strange ornaments, Lord Shiva thinks, are no less substantial than Indra's and Brahma's divine garlands. But these are only Lord Shiva's external decorations. His real ornament and his real enjoyment are found in the mercy of Sri Krishna. Humbly thinking himself bereft of that mercy, he feels fit to wear weeds and bones. With such ideas in mind, the great Lord Shiva conducts himself in his own particular way. So we have Sati's sarcasm that you think he's inauspicious. Why are Brahma and the other great demigods worshiping this inauspicious person? And she's glorifying Lord Shiva in part because she's his wife, so that's natural. But more importantly, she's factually glorifying the exalted nature of Lord Shiva. Prabhupada indirectly refers to the Brahma Samhita, where Krishna is compared to milk and Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva to curd, which means in America we'd say yogurt. And yes, then there's this glorification of the demigods in the Puranas, where they're glorified only to attract the attention of the worshipper. And so someone may say, well, why the Puranas doing that? But in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also says that when one wants to worship some other demigod, I make his faith strong so that he can do that. So one can only worship the demigods by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna helps. All right, you want to worship a demigod? Good. That's you're, in one sense, your misfortune. You're not yet eligible for devotional service, but at least you're willing to worship some demigod for some material purpose. All right, I'll help you with that. So sometimes the demigods are glorified as being almost as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But they're not even as good as Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva excels all the other demigods by his special position. Although he comes from Brahma, he's even more elevated than Lord Brahma. There's also indicated here is the risk of preaching to parents who are too materialistic. May not work.
Thank you, Maharaj.
But at least she makes the attempt.
We are at that time again. So I would invite Krishna Kaunteya Prabhu, Hare Krishna mantra.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayam Vishnu Padma Sabhaya Jayastota Sata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Jayadvaita Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Vishnu Padma Sabhaya Jayastota Sata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shiv Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Ring Se Ko Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasa Hari Gaur Nandi Hari Hari Bol
Thank you.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Maharaj, for coming and giving your association. Thank you all the devotees for participating. And Ananta Kuti Vaishnavinda ki Jai. Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj ki.
So,
The Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Brinda ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Krishna Kaunte Prabhu, for your nice kirtan.
Jai.
Pleasant.
Jai.
Hare Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hari Hari. Thank you, Gurudev.
Thank you.
Where are you right now, Gurudev?
I'm at New Brajamandala in Spain.
Wow.
Spain.
I spend 3 or 4 days here, then I go to Johannesburg. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.